House Twitter page doing today? They were calling out wealthy people who got hundreds of thousands of dollars in their PPP loans forgiven. They don't have to pay that money back to the government. It was canceled. But those same people, politicians like Marjorie Taylor Greene included, are upset about Biden canceling $10,000 to $20,000 in student loan debt. The $20K is for Pell Grant recipients, meaning they're especially low income and going to college is hard for them. But no one earning over $125,000 a year is eligible for the program. No top earners will have their debt canceled. Remember that. We'll get to this in a second. Are PPP loans comparable to student loan debt cancellation? I would say no, because student loans have to go to tuition and fees. Paycheck Protection Program loans, as the National Bureau of Economic Research found, were not as heavily regulated. 75% of those loans that were supposed to cover payroll, were supposed to be paid out as wages to workers, never did. Wealthy people just pocketed that money. $748 billion in PPP loans were forgiven, and 70% of PPP loans went to the top 20% of earners, to people who already have money. This is when workers were struggling to put food on the table, gas in their car, and pay rent. Let's go back to student loans. When did this all go wrong? There was a time when you could work a minimum wage job and pay your rent and your tuition and be fine, but the cost of attending college has skyrocketed over the last 50 plus years. College tuition was free to go to public schools until about the mid-60s. So let's talk about what shifted. There was an economic advisor, Roger Freeman, under Ronald Reagan, who said, "We're in danger of producing an educated proletariat. That's dynamite." And what he means by proletariat is another word for working class. They didn't want the working class to become educated because, I don't know, maybe then they would do some research and figure out that PPP loans are getting canceled for a bunch of rich people while working people are struggling to pay their bills, stuff like that. Things got really bad during the 2008 financial crisis. Wages went down, people didn't have as much money for college, so they would need to take out loans in order to afford it. But also college attendance rates were going up because people didn't want to enter a bad labor market, so they would prolong it by going to school. They were told that this was your option for having a shot at a stable life economically in this country. Bankers and student loan debt servicers are making a ton of money off of this. They can earn about 1% on each loan, and on average that's $400 to $1,000 per borrower. So they're lining their pockets because people can no longer afford to go to college. The media's coverage of this has been extremely biased as well. I got this message because I'm a Pell Grant recipient from a New York Times reporter looking to talk to Pell Grant recipients about debt cancellation. They weren't interested in what I had to say, so I'm gonna tell you what I told them that's never gonna get published. As a Pell Grant recipient, Biden canceling $20K of student loan debt is an insult when they've canceled $748 billion in paycheck protection loans, while less than 35% of that money went to workers' wages as intended. These loans went to people with hundreds of millions of dollars, many loans exceeding $1 million. Will those wealthy business owners pay that money back to the Treasury because it wasn't used to keep workers on payroll? No, just like Jeff Bezos will not be forced to pay taxes on the $94.8 billion he gained from 2014 to 2017 that went unreported to the IRS, while we pay higher tax rates than people like him. If our government worked for the working class, college would be free like it was until the mid-60s. The goal is, and has been, to keep people working, struggling to pay bills, so we put in long hours for low wages, and they continue to profit off of our labor. That's why I studied policy in school. My work is personal. We've had enough. Can't imagine why they wouldn't want to publish that.